Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to Laguna Niguel Seventh-day Adventist Sabbath School. We're going to do the memory verse and the Sabbath School lesson for kindergarten for October 31st.
And don't forget about the creature.
What is the creature today, Jean?
The tiger.
The tiger. Oh.
Tigers live in Asia.
They do, that's true, in India and China.
And look what they have. They're orange and they have stripes.
They do.
And they're also a little white.
Yes. Let's have a little prayer. Can you fold your hands and close your eyes? Dear Jesus, thank you for the Sabbath day. Thank you for the tigers and for all our friends. And please keep us safe and help us to continue to start meeting with you in person. We love you, dear Jesus. Amen. Jean, can you read the memory verse for us this week?
Okay.
It's found in what book?
Luke.
Luke. Is it in the Old or New Testament?
New.
New Testament. And it's chapter
7.
and it's verse 16.
God has come to help his people.
Thank you, Jean. God has come to help his people. Have you ever felt really sad about something? Have you been so sad that you cried? That's how the mother in today's story felt. Here she is. Well, Jesus was walking from town to town, and his disciples would go with him. And he was telling people about God. And as he went along, he was healing the sick. Other people wanted to hear and see Jesus. They also wanted to know what he was doing. And so a large crowd always followed him from place to place. Well, one day, Jesus came to a town. It was called Nain. In those days, the towns had walls around them with gates to let people in and out. And as Jesus walked towards the town gate, he saw lots of people coming. There were so many people. The problem was some of the people were carrying a coffin, and that's what they put dead people in. And here is the boy that was in the coffin, and the men were carrying him. And the mother was there, and she was crying, and all the people were very sad. The young man had died, and he was to be buried in the cemetery outside of town. His mother and the large crowd followed along, and Jesus could hear the young man's mother cry, and the crowd of crying people too. The mother was a widow. That means that her husband had already died, and now her only son had died too. Jesus immediately knew what he needed to do. He knew why she was sad. Her husband and her son had died, and now she was alone, and she had no one to help her, no one to earn money for food, no one to help her when she was sick, no one to comfort her or take care of her when she became old. Jesus wanted to do something to help her. Quietly, he walked over to the woman. When the people saw him, everyone stood still. They stopped crying, and they gathered around Jesus and the weeping mother. What would Jesus do? They wondered. What could he do? Jesus smiled at the woman gently and said, "Don't cry." Then he touched the coffin. And when the people saw him do that, they stared at him. What would he do next? Well, he spoke, and he said, "Young man, I say to you, get up." You will find that in Luke chapter 7, verse 14, boys and girls. He said again, "Young man, I say to you, get up." The people must have been surprised to hear Jesus say that. Everyone knew that the young man was dead, and dead people don't get up. But when Jesus spoke, a miracle occurred, boys and girls. That boy sat up, and he stood up. Oh, my goodness, that was a miracle, wasn't it? Jesus gave him to his mother. Here you are, Mother. Was she happy? Of course she was. She stopped crying and started praising God. The people were amazed. They were seeing a miracle. Their mouths must have fallen open in surprise. God has come to help his people, they shouted. Soon everyone returned to the city joyful and happy because of Jesus' love. God's care is so wonderful, and he asks us to help sad people too. When we see someone who is sick or scared or lonely, Jesus wants us to say kind words and listen to them to comfort them. We can love them as Jesus does. When we do, we are doing it for Jesus. Your memory verse again is, God has come to help his people. Luke 7, verse 16. Have a great week, boys and girls. Bye-bye.